Hey, I'm at work right now. Yeah, I know, who isn't? And I got a few minutes to kill, so I figured I'd do a voice-to-text video essay about AEW. Right now, AEW is in what I call the pivot era. Basically, they're in a state of limbo. Do they stay the course? Or can they actually pivot and find new direction? It's like being at a crossroads with a drunk GPS. Confusing as hell, but you know you gotta pick a damn route. The company has all these creative ideas swirling around, but the real question is, can they fucking pull it off, or are they just spinning their wheels? Before I continue, I want to say that I do enjoy all elite wrestling, despite that it can benefit from lots of improvements. Honestly, if anybody thinks I don't like the company, you're completely wrong. If I didn't like it, I won't about talking about improvements, and then I've been over 50 shows, and I'm planning to go to the Mexico City show, Dallas, London, and Toronto. What I really like is talking about necessary, talking points. Let's talk about the women's division, which is a dumpster fire with some moments of brilliance. Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm have been the main stars. But honestly, it feels like they're carrying a division that's about as organized as a drunk's garage. Meanwhile, Maria may leave for WWE, probably because AEW couldn't give her the damn opportunity she deserves. Many talented women are stuck in shadows. Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Saraya, Queen Aminata are all sitting on potential gold mines, but AEW keeps them in the dark. Then there's a mid-card hell problem, where women like Anna Jay, Thunder Rosa, Jamie Hayter, and Julia Hart are doing their spots but aren't being elevated or given real storylines. It's like watching a bunch of talented wrestlers get stuck in the corner, while the main event is a shit show of recycled storylines. And don't even get me started on Athena, who's been champ for over 1,000 days, but most fans probably don't even know she's still around. Kinda like that forgotten sock in the laundry. The real kicker? Will she stay or bolt back to WWE once her reign is over? Seems like the same old story, long title reigns, good booking, then a quick exit, leaving fans scratching their heads. Now, the big question, does AEW even give a shit about pivoting? I recently heard Ricky Stark say he thinks Tony Khan is more interested in holding on to his power than actually building something meaningful. According to him, Khan is like a chef trying to run a Vegas buffet, overworked, distracted, and forgetful. Whatever gets neglected, Khan just doesn't give a damn. And that's obvious with the women's division. He doesn't seem to give a flying fuck about the long-term growth of most of these women, which is a shame because they're full of stories waiting to be told. Toni Storm's sexual comedy act, it's already wearing thin. Kenny Omega, supposedly the president of the women's division, seems to be focused on his own booking and wrestling, probably more about pushing Japanese wrestlers and making the division truly shine. Remember Riho? Small girl, big wins, but not much else. It's like AEW is obsessed with matches and dream scenarios rather than compelling storytelling. If someone like Toni Storm or Mercedes Moné comes along with a killer character, maybe they'll get booked well, if they're lucky. Here's the fucking truth. AEW needs to hire more writers. Not just a couple of interns, but real storytellers who can turn wrestlers' real lives and struggles into compelling narratives. They should be interviewing these women, learning what fires them up, and crafting characters that resonate. For example, Billie Starks comes off as timid as a kitten. What, they made her an underdog, a high flyer trying to prove she belongs? Maybe she's trying to shed that small fish in a big pond vibe with Jeff Hardy-style moves like the Swan and Bomb. Queen Aminata? She wants to be the first African-born women's champion. Hell yeah, that's a story worth telling. Thunder Rosa? Proud of her Mexican heritage. Maybe her dream is to be champion at AEW's Mexico show, celebrating her roots. Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné? One could be a privileged brat craving all the titles, while the other fights for integrity and respect. Materialism versus heart. That kind of storytelling would be gold. Honestly, I work at a job where I can come up with better ideas for the women's division in about 20 minutes. It's frustrating as hell because AEW, for all its potential, has spent 6 years doing the same old shit, no real focus on storytelling. I get it. They're scared of turning into WWE, with endless talking segments and goofy scripts. But there's a balance. Maybe AEW should aim for 30% storytelling and 70% in-ring action, true sports-based wrestling that emphasizes athleticism and competition. WWE may have more athleticism at WrestleMania, but AEW could carve out its own niche by actually caring about character diversity and compelling stories. It's not rocket science. It's just about prioritizing talent and giving everyone a shot at a narrative. That's what will make the division and the company fucking thrive. The next fucking issue with AEW's so-called pivot is their heavyweight division. If you can even call it that, it's a goddamn joke. It's all interchangeable bullshit, like they're just throwing wrestlers into the ring and hoping something sticks. Back in the mid-2000s, WWE's heavyweight division was a well-oiled machine. Cena, Michaels, Batista, Orton, Undertaker, Triple H, guys with distinct characters, long-term stories, and slow burns. When they wanted someone to challenge the belt, it was a process, not a slapdash shit show. They knew how to build anticipation without confusing the hell out of everyone. Moving guys between divisions, it was gradual, logical, and made fans care. AEW? It's a fucking disaster. Samoa Joe last year was in the title picture. Then he's doing trios. What the hell? He's intimidating as hell. Looks like he could crush skulls for breakfast, but they keep tossing him around like a damn pinball. Same with Hangman and Swerve. Fans want to see those two face off of the AEW title, but instead, the company's pushing them into tag team shit or splitting them up like they're playing musical chairs. It's a confusing mess that makes the audience tune out. And then you got guys like Jungle Boy and Orange Cassidy, two guys who look like they belong in high school wrestling, not fighting for the heavyweight title. Cassidy's gimmick is doing lazy kicks and acting like he doesn't give a shit. So why the hell is he holding the big belt? It's like putting a clown in the main event and expecting everyone to take it seriously. Meanwhile, guys who actually look like they could rip someone's head off, Mark Briscoe, Christian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs, are all stuck in the background or fighting for some bullshit mid-card title. It's a fucking travesty. And Jesus Christ, MJF? He went from the heavyweight champion to the international title, then had a lame-ass feud with Jeff Jarrett that no one gave a flying fuck about, and now he's in a Hurt Syndicate, supposedly building toward the big payoff. It's like AEW is just throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks, instead of actually telling a fucking story. And then there's Hangman Page, actually one of the most compelling guys they've got, who might just get the belt snatched away and handed to Jon Moxley, who's been boring as hell and causing ratings to tank. Almost 30% drops over 9 months? That's not a fucking success. When Mox lost the trios titles, the momentum went straight into the shitter. Meanwhile, Samoa Joe is being pushed like some big deal, but he's not even the champion. And then there's Darby Allin, who's tiny, looks like a damn kid, and took a 7-month vacation to climb Mount Everest. Yeah, you heard that right. He went off to risk his damn life on a mountain where people have died, then return as a champion? That's a fucking joke. What kind of message does that send? Hey kids, take a long vacation, risk your life, come back as a champion, because we don't give a fuck about actual work. And when he reached the top, there was no media frenzy, no big deal, just crickets. It's a slap in the face to everyone busting their asses every week. The core problem? AEW keeps moving wrestlers around like a fucked up game of musical chairs. No consistency, no long-term vision. Hangman, Moxley, Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe, Swerve, Powerhouse Hobbs, members of the Don Callis family, MJF, all these guys should be the backbone of the heavyweight division. They should be the guys who matter, not just guys they throw in when the ratings dip. They need to bring in others like Bobby Lashley, Anthony Bowens, Kyle Fletcher, Darby, hell, even some fresh blood, and actually book them to make sense, to build something real. If Moxley isn't pulling the cash, then maybe it's time to pivot, do something bold, shake things up. Imagine Hangman beating Moxley at all in 2025, like their WrestleMania, rather than some bullshit where Mox just retains because they're scared to pull the trigger. Sometimes you gotta read the fucking room, see what fans want, and go all in. And speaking of reading the room, why the hell isn't Powerhouse Hobbs a consistent contender? The guy's got size, charisma, and talent. Everything you want in a star. Same with Anthony Bowens. He's openly gay, had a killer new theme, and was on fire, but then they have him losing every match and fading into obscurity. Kyle Fletcher? Same story. Losing to Ospreay repeatedly, acting like an idiot backstage, sticking his tongue out like a damn fool. That's not how you build a credible champion or a compelling character. AEW needs a serious fucking pivot. Keep the guys who should be in the division, develop their characters, and book the right moments. Stop dragging out title reigns when everyone else is tuning out. The answer? Read the fucking room. Do something bold, and focus on making moments that fans actually want to see. That's how you fix this shit show. Here's the fucking deal with AEW show structure. They're clueless, and they're running into a pattern that's been killing them slowly. The Fyter Fest show? A fucking disaster. It was poorly structured as hell. Hangman Adam Page, who's supposed to be a top guy, showed up after the 3rd hour, when he should have opened the damn thing, or appeared during the 9:30 to 10 p.m. slot. Instead, they put him on late, like some afterthought, and then wonder why nobody cares. And their lowest rated show? The one where Mercedes Moné versus Emi Sakura was a main event. Who the hell is Emi Sakura? A legend in Japanese wrestling, sure, but most of the American audience doesn't know, or give a fuck, about her. They do that shit all the time. Throw in some obscure luchador or Japanese star nobody's heard of, and then wonder why ratings plummet. Another example. Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero. Again, a lucha legend from Mexico who most viewers don't know or care about, and Cassidy, who's basically a comedy act, clowning around with slow, lazy moves. It's clear they don't know how to format their shows, or what makes a good opening, a strong middle, or a killer final segment. They keep throwing matches together with no rhyme or reason, no structure, and then they're surprised and fans tune out. And sure, sometimes too much emphasis on matches can be a good thing, but it's a fucking balancing act. Some weeks, the show should be heavy on talking, storytelling, promos, angles, while other weeks, it needs to be a wrestling showcase. It's about reading the room, listening to the fans, and adapting. Kenny Omega cracking jokes about dog poop when his friends, the Young Bucks, mocked his diverticulitis? That's the perfect example of how they're missing the point. It's a sign that Omega needs to be more serious. Same goes for Will Ospreay. He's improved his promo work, but he still rambles, has a thick British accent that's hard to understand, and sometimes looks like he's kissing up the company rather than speaking for fans. He's trying to pivot and improve, which is good, but he still has a long way to go. Toni Storm? She's a fucking repeat machine. Same sexual innuendo. Same narcissistic Hollywood bullshit. She's not showing any interest in actually finding opponents or building her division. When John Cena was champ, guys would step up, try to beat him, and the division grew. But Storm? She's just there, doing her thing, and nobody's trying to challenge her or grow. AEW isn't making her or anyone else want to step up, which is why their women's division feels dead in the water. And then there's the fucking overkill with special shows. AEW keeps stacking them up. Fyter Fest in Denver, Summer Blockbuster in Portland, AEW Grand Slam in Mexico City, their 300th episode celebration, and then all in 2025. Each one supposed to be their WrestleMania. But they're so caught up in throwing these big-ass events that they forget about booking the actual storylines that should be leading into them. They're just throwing matches together and hoping fans get invested. But it doesn't work like that. You need weeks of compelling storytelling to build emotional investment. Instead, all they've got are a handful of storylines, Hangman needing help from Ospreay and Swerve, the Hurt Syndicate, MJF's rise and fall, Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné, and a boring build to Omega versus Okada Part 5. That's it. The rest? Fluff, filler, and shit nobody cares about. They have almost 30 hours of weekly television, and they can't even bother to develop 10 solid storylines that will make people care. Instead, they just throw matches at us, hoping we forget how boring it all is. What they should do is simple. Focus on the wrestlers who want it, give them meaningful storylines, and build toward their biggest show of the year, AEW All In. Imagine Anthony Bowens, Billy Starks, Thunder Rosa, or Harley Cameron talking about wanting a shot on that stage. Imagine Christian Cage fighting for a shot. Dustin Rhodes wanted to win the ROH title before he retires. Athena throwing down a challenge as the reigning ROH Women's Champion. Instead, they keep ignoring the obvious opportunities, wasting good talent, and overloading their calendar with bullshit that's just going to burn out viewers faster. The biggest fucking takeaway? AEW needs a pivot badly. They're stuck in their own shit, running the same tire plays and expecting different results. That's insane. The lesson from WWE, whether you like them or not, is that change is necessary. For years, fans hated Vince McMahon's direction. So AEW was created to shake things up. Now, they're doing the same old shit, and it's killing their credibility. If they don't start making bold fucking moves, changing their format, focusing on storytelling, and giving fans what they want, they're doomed to be just another failed experiment. And nobody wants that. It's do or fucking die now. Pivot or perish.